This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showcasing Cinderace EX from the Stellar Crown expansion set. I think this card is so underrated right now, but I think it's great. Cinderace EX is a Stage 2 Terra Pokemon with 320 HP, and it has two strong attacks. The first one is Flare Strike. For 1 fire and 2 colorless energies, this attack deals 280 damage. However, on your next turn, you cannot use this attack. This attack is so easy to energize, especially with the help of the double turbo energy. However, this will reduce your attack by 20 less damage. And you can even use the Magma Basin Stadium. As long as you have a basic fire energy in your discard pile, you can accelerate one to your benched fire Pokemon. However, you do have to put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. And the damage output for Flare Strike is actually really great because it's powerful enough to knock out most basic EX, V Pokemon, or even V-Star Pokemon in the game. And even though you can't use Flare Strike on your next turn, it's actually really easy to get around that because Cinderace EX has 0 retreat cost, so you can just easily retreat it back into your bench, back into the active, and keep using Flare Strike. And if you have another Cinderace EX set up on your bench, you can just retreat between the two and keep attacking with Flare Strike every single turn. And now we'll move on to its second attack, Garnet Volley. While its energy cost is quite awkward, this is really great for sniping. For 1 fire, 1 fighting, and 1 dark energy, this attack deals 180 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. But just remember that Terra Pokemon has a built-in bench barrier, so you can't really target it with this attack while they're on the bench. But this attack is actually good for taking out support Pokemon such as Quackabilly EX, Mew EX, which can get you 2 prizes easily. And one of the easiest way of powering up the Garnet Volley attack is by using Neo Upper Energy, a spec card. This counts as 2 energies of every type as long as it is attached to a Stage 2 Pokemon. Or you can also use Crispin. This allows you to search your deck for 2 different types of basic energies. The first one you put into your hand, and the second type of energy you can attach to any one of your Pokemon. In my preliminary builds, I did have a hard time knocking out higher HP Pokemon with Cinderace EX, which is why I added a 2-1-1 line of Dusclops and Dusknoir in this build. By using the Curse Blast ability, it will knock out Dusclops or Dusknoir, and it will give your opponent a prize, but it's great for putting 5 or even 13 damage counters to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and this may help you soften up one of your opponent's Pokemon just enough for Cinderace EX to be able to finish them off. But because you also give up a prize, this is also great for manipulating the price trade, and by doing so, you may just be able to use Briar as well. If your opponent has exactly 2 prizes remaining, you may use this card, and if you manage to knock out your opponent's active Pokemon by your Terra Pokemon, that is with Cinderace EX, you can take 1 extra prize. I have to admit that price manipulation takes quite a bit of practice, but when you do get a hang of it, this build actually does pretty well with most matchups. As for my Pokemon support, I'm using Pidgeot EX with the Quick Search ability, which allows you to search your deck for any 1 card. And I also have Rotom V with the Instant Charge ability. While it ends your turn, you can draw 3 cards. And you can also use the Forest Seal Stone with Rotom V that lets you use the Star Alchemy ability, letting you search your deck for any 1 card. And finally, we also have Fezandipiti EX with the Flip the Script ability. If one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you can draw 3 cards. Cinderace EX is actually pretty awesome. I actually managed to get pretty high up in the ladder with this build, especially with the Dusknoir lineup to help with damage. It's very easy to get key knockouts. Overall, I do have high hopes for the Cinderace EX. I think this build could even quite possibly make its way to the top tier level in the competitive scene. I highly recommend it. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Cinderace EX. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video, and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. We will be starting this one with a Score Bunny in the active and 1 Score Bunny in the bench. My opponent will mulligan once, which means we can get 1 extra card to start our turn. And we're going against Hydrapple EX. And we got Duskull. Alright, nice. It's always great to set up your basic Pokemon as early as your first turn. But my opponent will be going first. It is ideal for me to go first because we do have a lot of Stage 2 Pokemon to evolve into. But given that we do have type advantage against this matchup, I hope this would be a fairly easy matchup to win. But as it is, you should never ever underestimate your opponent because Hydrapple EX can deal 1-hit knockouts if they stack enough grass energies in their board. So we do have Buddy Buddy Poffin. I'll just set up Pidgey and another Duskull because Hydrapple EX has a fair amount of HP, especially if we can't get our Cinderace EX set up. And as it is, all we could do was instant charge to draw 3, ending our turn. My opponent might be able to attack here to knock out Score Bunny, but that's fine. That's why we put that Fire Energy on our bench Pokemon. And with Arven, we should be able to evolve into a Cinderace EX, maybe get our first 2 prizes against this Ogerpon. So we have Rare Candy. First and foremost, your first priority is always to set up your Pidgeot EX because you can just find any one card from your deck at any point in time. And with Arven, for Seal Stone also helps us to use the VSTAR power ability to get 1 card from the deck and Quick Search. So now we can set up Cinderace EX. We have Rare Candy, and we could probably just use Forest Seal Stone to get either Double Turbo Energy or our Neo Upper Energy to attack. So I'm just gonna use that to get Neo Upper Energy. Our Double Turbo Energy is prized, so we're gonna go with that. And since we have Nest Ball, we can just use Phesandipides, flip the script to draw 3 because my opponent did knock out one of our Pokemon. Right now, what I'm gonna use is Garnet Volley. So 180 damage, but double that, knocking out their active Ogerpon EX. So Garnet Volley can target any Pokemon in your opponent's board, basically. So you can hit one on the bench, you can hit the active, but there is no drawback except for Terra Pokemon. So Terra Pokemon has a built-in bench barrier or what is that? Wave Veil ability, just like Manaphy. So you can't really target Terra Pokemon in the bench with Garnet Volley. So now my opponent has 2 Hydrapple EX in play, and with enough energies, they might just be able to knock out our Cinderace EX, but I think it's multiplied by 30? So I'm not sure if they can get enough grass energies attached to their Pokemon to deal a 1-hit knockout against our Cinderace EX. No! Okay, so they only hit for 240 damage, so that's great. We can take another knockout this turn. And that's one of the reasons why I used Garnet Volley, because if we use Flare Strike, we can't use it again. And slowly but surely, I can even use Dusclops and Dusknoir to take a knockout against their Applin. So let's go ahead and do that. Take 1 prize. And there's the Double Turbo Energy. Alright. We can't use Briar yet. We just evolve into a Dusknoir. And then I'm gonna use Iono. Yeah, Briar requires that your opponent only has 2 prizes left remaining in their deck, so you can't really use it right now. But ideally, even if you have 3 prizes and you knock out 1 2-prizer Pokemon, you'll get 1 extra prize with Briar. So you can take all 3 prizes in a single turn. But for now, Flare Strike should do the job. 560 damage, knocking out their Hydrapple, getting us 2 prizes. Alright, very nice. Got another Score Bunny, but with a low HP Cinderace, they should be able to take a knockout here. And with so many HP and no other Cinderace EX set up on our board, this is gonna be very, very bad. But thankfully, we have 1 Fire Energy on Pheasantipede EX. That's exactly what we wanted to do to set up. And all we could do is actually just use Pidgeot EX, grab our Double Turbo Energy. Thankfully, my opponent still needs 2 prizes left, so we can sacrifice 1 by using Dusknoir. Let's go ahead and use Quick Search, get Double Turbo Energy, and what we're gonna do is basically just attack with Pheasantipede EX. Never discount Pheasantipede EX. It has a great attack. You can snipe with it also. Thankfully, they have Pheasantipede EX as well, and not a Terra Pokemon, because otherwise we would not win this one. So we'll just deal 13 damage counters to their Pheasantipede EX. That gives them a prize. And yeah, let's go ahead and use Cruel Arrow. Snipe their Pheasantipede EX, hitting for exactly 210 total damage to knock it out, getting us our last prize. Not bad. Good game. Alright, on to our next match. This time we will be going first, which I do recommend. So we're going to start with a Score Bunny in the active spot. We have Duskull on the bench. And my opponent has Klefki in their active. So that will shut down, actually, our Rotom V. So I'll just get Pidgey, attach a Fire Energy to Score Bunny, and just end my turn. Because if I put Rotom V, we can't use its ability anyways, but since we do have Rare Candy and Pidgeot EX, we can just evolve next turn and then find a support card so that we can continue to set up. So, my opponent manages to use TM Evolution to evolve into 2 Curlius, and we're going against a Gardevoir EX build. So, very tough matchup, but now that we have 2 Rare Candies, we were able to evolve into Pidgeot EX as well as Dusknoir. And what I'm going to do is just get Iono, get 6 cards, and we just need to keep setting up. Let's see, we have another Score Bunny. We can evolve this into Reboot, and I'm just going to low sweep for 30. I can evolve into Cinderace EX next turn, and even grab a Neo Upper Energy. I don't know if my opponent can evolve into a Gardevoir EX just yet. They have Ultra Ball, so they could get it. They're gonna go for Monkey Dory, alright. We can transfer those damage counters from Klefki to one of our Pokemon. And it's just so easy for my opponent to just evolve into Gardevoir EX, get Drifloon, or even, what's that, Screamtail, to snipe my bench. And that is one thing. Alright, so they do evolve into Gardevoir EX. Use Iono. So both players draw 6. But we still did we still got an Arven, so I'm okay with that. And a Nest Ball. So I could even use Nest Ball to get Rotom V, get the Forest Seal Stone, and get another card from the deck. So they're gonna go for a Screamtail, so they can snipe. I might have to play my Manaphy to protect my bench for future reference here. And yeah, that's the thing with this Gardevoir EX. It has a lot of awesome one-prizer attacker. So we'll have to target that Gardevoir EX at some point. They dealt enough damage, even without HP buff. They were able to knock out our Dusknoir, which is a bummer because we could have used that to knock out one of their Pokemon. But that's okay, we're gonna set up another one. That's gonna help us to knock out that Gardevoir at some point. Because with just Cinderace EX, we would not be able to knock out Gardevoir because we're not dealing enough damage. So I'm just gonna grab an Ultra Ball, use Quick Search. And then I could even use Pheasantipede, but it becomes a liability as well. Yeah, they haven't used any boss orders or anything yet. Let me just get boss orders. Just preparing for Gardevoir EX for next turn. And then I'm gonna sacrifice these 2, use Ultra Ball, get Pheasantipede EX, draw 3. Hopefully I'll get something good here. Okay, we got Cinderace EX. I'll take it. And then put the Dark Energy, get Manaphy on our bench. Now our bench is protected. We can't attack just yet though. That's the only thing. And we've used up everything else. I'm just gonna end my turn. I'm just so scared that they'll bring out their Drifloon and just stack a bunch of energies onto it and knock me out. But thankfully, Screamtail has all the energies, so even if they retreat it, they shouldn't be able to stack enough damage counters, even if they do have Drifloon in play. So I'm counting on that. Hopefully they don't charge up enough energies on their discard pile. Because Gardevoir EX ability only works if they have Psychic energies in their discard pile, so that they can accelerate it. But yeah, thankfully we have Manaphy. I did want to include a single prize attacker. In my preliminary builds, I did have Radiant Charizard in this deck, which was helpful actually, but I had to cut it down in place of the Dusclops, Dusknoir lineup, and I think this is a lot better than Radiant Charizard. If I had to exchange anything, it would be Manaphy, but in circumstances like these where your opponent can snipe your bench, it's actually really great to have Manaphy in your deck. So if you want to play defensively, use Manaphy. If you want to be aggressive, use Charizard. Radiant Charizard, I think, is your option. So my opponent can't hit the bench. They're just going to use Scream Tail to deal 100 damage to my active Cinderace EX, which I'm okay with. And with 5 damage counters to their Gardevoir, I think we should be able to knock it out actually. Since that's their primary engine, it would be great if I could just knock it out this turn. So with that, I'm just gonna fully energize my Cinderace EX. I'll use Flare Strike, but it's great to have our sniping attack ready to go. So we're just gonna sacrifice our Dusclops, give my opponent 1 prize. But that 5 damage counters is gonna help us to knock it out with Cinderace EX Flare Strike. So with that, I'm gonna use Quick Search to use Super Rod and recover my Dusknoir lineup again, which could help us tremendously, especially if they use Drifloon. And we're just gonna knock out their Gardevoir EX to get our first 2 prizes. All right. So this should give my opponent a bit of trouble if they cannot evolve into another Gardevoir EX. So there's the Drifloon. They also have Bravery Charm to add HP. So if they don't draw into a Gardevoir, they have Unfair Stamp. They draw 5. We draw 2. We have a bunch of energies. Mimikyu. Mimikyu actually is a problem too. That's why it's great to have Radiant Charizard in the deck. But they're gonna Iono. They're desperate to find that Gardevoir EX. I wonder if it's prized. If it is, then we have the upper hand, definitely. And they don't have Manaphy to protect their bench. We could just snipe and prevent them from setting up even. So they're going for another 100 damage with their Scream Tail. It's got Duskull, and I'm just gonna keep charging up my next Cinderace EX lineup on the bench. Alright, looking good, looking good. Quick search for Rare Candy. Yeah, I can evolve into another Cinderace EX. I think these Gardevoir EX has Devolution, TM Devolution, but it's alright. I'm just gonna use Garnet Volley to take out their Kirlia. Now they cannot evolve into any more Gardevoir EX. Period. They'll have to set up from another basic Pokemon. So now they can't use their Drifloon. They can't use any other Pokemon to damage their Scream Tail to increase its attack. 100 damage is not gonna deal enough damage, because even if they use their Monkey Dory to transfer damage, that will also lower Scream Tail's attack. So no way that they can knock out my Cinderace EX right now. So slowly but surely, that Garnet Volley is actually really awesome, dude. But setting up for the 300 damage, next turn they could just transfer the damage counter from their Scream Tail to get a knockout. But we already have another Cinderace EX set up, so they still have 4 prizes to go. And we're just gonna slowly but surely knock out their Pokemon. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the fastest way of taking them out. Yeah, I don't want to use Dusknoir yet. I'm just gonna use Garnet Volley and knock out their Monkey Dory. For another prize, we got Magma Basin. Very good. And I think we're all set here. They can just keep attacking with Scream Tail. You can knock out my Cinderace to get 2 prizes, but we have Dusknoir. We can sacrifice that, give my opponent 1 prize, but with all of my opponent's 1 prizers, all we have to do is take 1 knockout, and then another knockout with Dusknoir, another knockout with our Cinderace EX. So we should have this game in the bag with no support Pokemon, that is Gardevoir EX, in play. My opponent's just, they have a huge setback. So only 40 damage to Pheasantipity. All we need is an energy to retreat our Pheasantipity. But we need to attach. Oh, we have a switch. We also need Neo Upper Energy though. So what I'm gonna do is actually use Neo Upper Energy. Use Arven to get Switch as our item card. Switch our Cinderace EX. Sacrifice Dusknoir with Curse Blast, dealing 13 damage counters, knocking out their Scream Tail. Now we're both down to 1, and of course Cinderace EX can just deal a knockout blow to any of their Pokemon in the active. If they had Mimikyu, we could just use Garnet Volley to snipe their bench Pokemon. Either way, we would win this game. So there it is, guys. Cinderace EX is pretty awesome. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. Ooh, we're gonna start with a Manaphy. But thankfully we have Buddy Poffin to set up more basic Pokemon on the bench. This is not a very ideal start, but it will do, I guess. Alright, my opponent will start with a Duskull. Let's use Buddy Poffin to set up our own Duskull and a Pidgey. And we're just gonna end our turn. There's really not much we could do. At least we have Pidgeot EX. We can use Arven to get Rare Candy. But we could also use Arven to get Rotom V to draw more cards. Really depends on how my opponent sets up here. And it depends on whether or not we can stall for another turn. Because a lot of decks right now can attack as early as their first turn going second. So let's see what we're going up against. So my opponent will use Fan Rotom, getting a bunch of basic Pokemon. They have Hoot, Pidgey. Now they're using Ultra Ball. And they're gonna get Terapagos EX. Okay, Terapagos EX, and they're gonna end their turn. Okay. We got Score Bunny. That's good. Score Bunny is good. So we gotta figure this out. We have to evolve into Pidgeot EX. Rare Candy is good. Evolve into Pidgeot EX. Can attach a Fire Energy. Use Quick Search to get Rotom V. I could use Force Seal Stone right now, but I think I'm just gonna instant charge for the meantime. I don't think Terapagos EX has any snipers, so we can easily sacrifice our Manaphy for the meantime. So my opponent evolves into a Noctowl with the Jewel Seeker ability. As long as there's a Terra Pokemon in play, if you evolve into a Noctowl, you can get 2 trainer cards from your deck. So with that, they were able to evolve into a Pidgeot EX, which is very powerful. That's why we also have it in our deck. You can use Quick Search to get any 1 card from their deck. And now with Area 0 Underdepths to expand their bench. That will actually expand our bench too if we evolve into our Cinderace EX. But the more Pokemon my opponent has in their bench, the more powerful Terapagos EX's attack will be. And just the same as our Cinderace EX, I think with the Duskull, Dusknoir lineup, it's gonna give them additional damage so that they can easily knock out their Pokemon with Terapagos EX. So they're gonna go for a knockout against our Manaphy. We're just gonna pivot into Pidgeot EX, which has free retreats, so do that. And we need a few cards here. We need to evolve into Cinderace EX, we need Rare Candy, Cinderace, and also Double Turbo Energy or Neo Upper Energy, whichever one is available. We can actually take a knockout against this Terapagos EX. But with that, I can use Arvin also to get another item card if I need to. See, all I could get is a Rare Candy, unfortunately. Yeah, there's really not much I could do here. Although I could use Fezandipity EX to draw more cards. Maybe I'll get the energy, but I think I'm just gonna go with Neo Upper Energy, and since we have Nest Ball, I could use Fezandipity. And we got our Cinderace EX. Alright, awesome. Great RNG. So now we can actually take a knockout here. I'm gonna go against their Pidgeot EX because this is their consistency engine, basically. And with Flare Strike, we can deal 280 to knock it out, get 2 prizes, and now not only did we take 2 prizes, we disabled their search engine, and now that will affect my opponent tremendously. And that's what makes Cinderace EX really great. For such a simple attack as Flare Strike, 280 flat damage is really awesome. A lot of VSTAR Pokemon have 280 HP, and a lot of basic support Pokemon have less than 240. And even this Terapagos EX only has 230 HP, so we can easily knock out a lot of 2 prizers in the game. And to add to that, Garnet Volley to snipe. I think Cinderace EX is great. It's awesome. And I think the Dusk Noir lineup does make a big difference, so that it's easier for us to take knockout against higher HP matchups. But now my opponent has a fully charged bench, so they're hitting for maximum damage with Terapagos EX. Unfortunately for them though, they are using Double Turbo Energy. That does reduce their damage by 20 damage, so they're dealing only 220. But that's enough damage, I think. Especially if they start using their Dusclops, Dusknoir lineup to just knock us out. So we can get 2 more prizes against this Terapagos EX. But as long as we can keep our lineup of Cinderace EX, we should be fine. Let me use Quick Search first. Get Dusclops. We can't... Oh, I can knock out their Pidgey. So if I do that, we'll get 3 prizes for this turn. That'll give them 1 prize, but that will prevent them from using Briar as well. Because this Terapagos EX is very... how should I say... very notorious. That's the word I'm looking for. Notorious for using Briar. Because it is a Terra Pokemon, and that's what Dusclops, Dusknoir does. It just basically tries to knock out Pokemon to manipulate prizes. So if we're down to 2 prizes and they're down to 3, they can just take all 3 prizes if they knock out one of our Pokemon with their Terapagos EX. And Fezandipity and also Rotom V are great targets for that. But because we sacrificed our Dusclops, we were able to knock out their Pidgey. And since we couldn't use Flare Strike, thankfully we had our switch. So we just switch our Cinderace back into our bench, removing that negative effect. And by retreating our Pidgeot EX, we can use Flare Strike once again, taking out their Terapagos EX. Now we're down to 1 prize. And with that, my opponent cannot use their Dusclops or Dusknoir Pokemon anymore. Because if they do that, we'll get our last prize and we will win the game. So now they cannot manipulate prizes anymore. We basically disabled them, and we just need 1 more prize to win this game. So they can't use Briar. I mean, Yeah, they cannot use Briar anymore because we have one prize. Briar requires that your opponent has 2 prizes remaining only. Exactly 2 prizes, I mean. So what we need to do, we have Ultra Ball, we have Pidgeot, we can evolve into another Cinderace EX, we have Double Turbo Energy. So yeah, we just need a Rare Candy to evolve into another Cinderace EX, attach Double Turbo Energy, and then we can take a knockout. Even with the reduced damage of Double Turbo Energy, we can deal enough damage to knock out Terapagos EX. Unless they have an HP buff, I think 280 still. Double Turbo Energy reduces our attack, so 260. So if they have Bravery Charm, they could afford another turn. Possibly. But we do only need one more prize. That Manaphy prevents us from sniping one of their bench Pokemon, so we're just gonna target their Terapagos EX. And we even got Cinderace from our top deck, so we can just get Rare Candy, and that'll be the end of the game. There you have it, guys, against Terapagos EX. If you play it smart, your opponent shouldn't be able to use Briar, and you'll still be able to win the game. And I'm gonna use Crispin. So put one in your hand, attach one, and we'll deal a maximum of 280 damage still. That's why Crispin is such a great card in this deck as well. And there you have it, guys, against Terapagos EX. Cinderace EX takes the win. Good game. Alright, moving on to our last match. We'll have to take mulligans. Both players will take mulligan. We're going to start this one with a Pidgey in the active spot. And looks like we're going against Lugia VSTAR. So, Lugia VSTAR. You know what? Garnet Volley, I think, should be very effective against this matchup. So we are going first. I like going first, as I've said many times. And with Buddy Buddy Poffin, we're going to get Scorbunny and Duskull. I'll leave one energy, get rid of Briar, and let's see here. Our Rotom V is prized. I hate when that happens. Thankfully, we do have an energy, and we're just gonna get Pidgeot EX. We can evolve into a Pidgeot EX next turn, and maybe even get Hisuian Heavy Ball to get our Rotom V if we need to. My opponent has Weirdeer V in their active spot. It's not a great Pokemon to start with, since this one, the ability requires that when you switch it from the bench to the active, you can transfer as many energies onto it, increasing its attack damage output. So our setup was messed up because of my opponent's Iono. And slowly but surely, they're gonna discard Archeops. And they need to set up Lugia. At least one Lugia V here. That way they can evolve into Lugia V-Star and then get those Archeops into play. And they can start energizing their Pokemon with those special energies. And Mist Energy. I don't think Mist Energy does anything against us. And they're just gonna use Read the Wind to draw extra cards. Now it's our turn. Alright. Let's use Mesagoza. Maybe we'll get something. Ooh, we got something. Alright. We got heads. So what I'm going to do is actually get Reboot. Evolve this. Put that energy and then... Yeah, I'm gonna set up these two because most likely I'm just gonna stall. I really can't set up to attack this turn right away. Very unfortunate because I have very limited cards and just probably gonna sacrifice Pidgey. Since we discarded that fire energy, I could put one energy to this one and then... Yeah, I guess I could get Pidgeot EX evolved here because we have rare candies already. Yeah, the fact that Rotom V was prized actually messed us up a little bit. We could have gotten extra cards already. But it is what it is, guys, right? We only have one copy of Rotom V in this deck. So at least we got Pidgeot EX. I'll use Super Rod to recover my energy. And we already used Iono. We can't really use any more supporter cards. But we have to take advantage of Quick Search regardless. So I'm going to use Hisuian Heavy Ball. I can grab Rotom V. Let's see what we got. Dusclops is prize, alright. And then I'm just gonna retreat into Pidgey, sacrifice that, and instant charge for 3. We got 4 Sealstone. Alright, nice. So, next turn, what we're gonna do... Oh, they're gonna boss my Rotom V. They're gonna use Summoning Star, VSTAR, Power Ability. Now they have Archeops in play. Okay, so... They're gonna slowly charge up their Pokemon. First and foremost is Lugia VSTAR. They can take a knockout against a Rotom V. But they didn't accelerate energies to their Minccino. That's a good thing, I think, right? Well, they can just easily power it up regardless because they have 2 Archeops. But my priority, since my Cinderace EX has high HP anyways, I think I should be okay. Yeah. Alright, we got the special energies that we need. But we can also use fighting energy. Let's see. First things first is we can evolve into Cinderace EX. We can also use Fast Serendipity to draw 3. Let's see what we get. Alright, we got Cinderace. We got Cinderace. Earthen Vessel will help us to get another energy that we need. We can snipe one of their Pokemon on the bench. So I'm going to get basic energy and a fire energy. Let's do that. We can start sniping their Archeops because that's going to energize their Pokemon, whatever they put in their active. So I'm going to stall a little bit here. Put their Weirdeer in the active because, again, the ability activates if they move their Weirdeer from the bench to the active. So as it is, they shouldn't be able to attack unless they use Archeops. And what I'm going to do is just use Garnet Volley to eliminate one of their Archeops. Now they only have 1 to rely on, and they can only accelerate 2 energies at a time. So if they want this Weirdeer out of the active, they'll accelerate 2, and they're limited to just attacking with Lugia VSTAR, or they can use Jet Energy and just attach it to Minccino. Okay. They can Iono, they can evolve into Cinccino, and with enough energy, I don't know if they can deal enough damage though to knock out our Cinderace EX, but I think we should be okay. But Lugia VSTAR is not one to be underestimated. It's been doing really well. A lot of competitive players have been using Lugia VSTAR, and it does really well in the competitive scene. So one of the more powerful builds that you can go against in the format right now. So with 3 energies attached, special energies to Cinccino, can they deal a knockout blow? They're gonna set up Iron Hands to Ted. They can definitely get 1 extra prize for knocking out our Cinderace, but I'm gonna sacrifice this guy. They can knock it out, but we can take out their Archeops and go from there. As long as we destroy their Archeops, we should be fine the next few turns, and we can deal knockout blows against all of their 2 prizers in the next few turns. So I'm gonna use Rare Candy to evolve into another Cinderace EX. That's priority. Set up another attacker for the next turn, and then I'll get Neo Upper Energy. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, one of our targets could be their Squawkabilly EX, and I'm just gonna use Counter Catcher to trap their Iron Hands EX in the active, take out their Archeops for another prize, and we're well on our way. I think our strategy is working. Without any other energy accelerator, unless they have Jet Energy still left, they can, yeah, that should be their last one though. They switch out their Iron Hands in the active, or they switched out their Iron Hands from the active into Cinccino, taking out our Cinderace. But thankfully we have boss orders and we can just continue to snipe them. So what I'm going to do is just boss orders Iron Hands back into the active. Again, with no more jet energy available to them. 3 are attached to their Cinccino and 1 to their Lugia. We should be okay. And Dusknoir should take care of that Cinccino. For the meantime, we're going to use Garnet Volley to take out their Squawkabilly EX, dealing 180, taking it out, getting us our 2 prizes. And regardless of what they do, we can use Dusknoir, we can use Flare Strike next turn to take out this Iron Hands EX to get our last 2 prizes to win us the game. So we have the win condition. But if they can switch out into their Cinccino again, I think they have enough energy to take out our Cinderace EX. But with so many retreat costs on this Iron Hands, I don't think they can get it out of the active spot. But we'll see. We shall see. What will my opponent do? Do they have a way out of here? Luminion V, okay. Do they have a support card that will help them get this Iron Hands EX out of the active? Professor's Research. Do they have a switch? Switch card? Anything? They don't! And that will be game, guys. Flare Strike will finish off this Iron Hands EX for the win. And there you have it, guys. Cinderace EX is super awesome. I highly recommend it. Good game. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel. And until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.